So the Samsung Galaxy S8 was announced on March 29th and it's going to be available for purchase very soon. The announcement made everyone go wow. The device itself is a powerhouse and has looks to kill, which would impress even these guys. So let's take a closer look at the device and figure out whether it's a worthy upgrade from the previous generation S7 Edge or not, what's new, what's different. So stay tuned and let's see whether the S8 is actually a worthy upgrade, a worthy successor to the S7 Edge or not, and whether you should spend your money to upgrade to the S8 or stick to your current generation S7 Edge. I have been using the S7 Edge for quite some time now and the device is really impressive. When we look at the design of the S7 versus the S8, there are some notable changes made to the S8 and it has a lot of things that will be widely appreciated by its users. Now, when we look at the good part about the changes, the phone has slimmer bezels, it has a dedicated Bixby button which is the new voice assistant by Samsung. The size of the phone really does not increase much even though there is a huge bump in the size of the screen, and that is because of the lesser bezel size. The phone is only 3 grams heavier than the predecessor, and the introduction of the Type-C port for faster charging, which can also be used for much more than just charging, really gets a thumbs up from us. And thankfully, the S8 did not go the Apple way and it retained the headphone jack. Now, when we look at the bad part, and personally these are things that we did not like about the S8 over the S7, were that there is no standalone home button. Now, there are a lot of people who prefer the on-screen buttons, but personally, we prefer the physical home button because it's just that much more clickier and that's what we personally appreciate. However, it's a personal choice from user to user whether they like the home button or they like the on-screen buttons. The fingerprint sensor is now placed right next to the camera. Now, reaching the camera even on the S7 Edge was pretty hard. It's located at a very weird position according to us. So if your hands are small or medium sized, just say goodbye to unlocking your phone with just one hand in the S8. When we look at the display, the S7 Edge had a display of 5.1 inches and the S8 has a display of 5.8 inches, and there has not been a notable increase in the size of the phone at all. On the screen, you'll be able to see the dimensions of the S7 versus the S8, and even when we look at the display, both these phones use a Super AMOLED screen which gives out great quality output, and all Samsung phones currently have a 4K screen. There isn't much improvement over the pixel density when you look at the S7 to the S8. There is actually a drop in the pixel density. The S7 had a QHD display of 2560 by 1440 with a pixel per inch of 578. Whereas the S8 has a QHD display of 2960 by 1440 with a pixel density of 570. Now, in day-to-day usage, the drop of pixel density will not really make a difference. Both the screens are great to look at. They're amazing quality screens. The blacks just look perfect on a Super AMOLED screen. But because there isn't so much of an increase and the pixel density has actually reduced, it does get you thinking that the increased screen size with the same screen would actually bring down your battery life. However, that will not be the case in most phones because even when you get the S7 right out of the box, the screen resolution has been reduced to a 1080p display, and even in the case of S8, it will be lowered to a 2K display, which can be adjusted and you can increase it as per your liking, whether you want better quality and trade off your battery a little bit. That would be a personal choice from a user to user, and you will have to figure out what do you prefer. When we looked at the camera, we were a little disappointed. We saw that there wasn't any improvement of the camera from the S7 Edge to the S8, and they used the same 12 megapixel sensor. Now, I'm not saying that the camera on the S7 Edge was bad. It was one of the best cameras in a smartphone ever, and it gives out just brilliant pictures. The only problem is when you're upgrading and buying a new phone, you would want an upgrade, you would want a change. And speaking of the camera, although there has been no change in the megapixels or the module itself, there will be a lot of changes when we look at the software rendering of the images. And also another notable improvement in the S8 is that the introduction of Bixby and the Bixby Vision is a new thing. So what you'll be able to do with the Bixby Vision is that you'll be able to click a picture of a product and it will give you results of that product, including its pricing, its ingredients, and you can directly then just buy the product off the internet. But actual usage of this still has to be seen. We still have to see how useful this is all over the world and in general as well. On the software front, the S8 will come directly out of the box with Nougat, and that is something that is impressive because till date not a lot of phones have upgraded to Android 7.1 yet. So although the features of the software would remain highly the same other than Bixby being introduced in the S8, we also think that the user experience pretty much will be the same because the S7 Edge will also be upgraded to the next software, whichever comes out from Android, and the overall look and feel of the OS would remain the same, leaving aside Bixby. We have to see how the software is actually integrated with Bixby and whether Bixby will be made available on the S7 Edge as well or not. When we looked at the hardware, we realized that not much has changed in the S8. Yes, the S8 does have a more powerful processor. It has the Snapdragon 835 in some countries. However, leaving aside the processor, and quite frankly, the processor does not make too much of a difference for a day-to-day user and an average user. And even if you're a hardcore gamer or a hardcore user of your phone, you still would not feel much of a difference between the S7 Edge or the S8, and especially on a day-to-day usage, it really does not make too much of a difference. Hardcore gamers and heavy users would also be equally happy for the next couple of years with the S7 and its performance, and I've been using it without lags, without any problems for almost a year now, and I am pretty happy with the phone and its entire features and hardware. Some other things that we noted that the S8 and the S7 have the same battery. They have the same RAM of 4GB. The battery size is actually 3000 mAh, which is the same for S7 and S8, and they have the same camera. Now, although the new processor, the Snapdragon 835, would give out more battery life and more screen time because it's better in handling battery and your screen. However, we feel that having the same battery of 3000 mAh would be a little bit of a problem for the S8 users because of the bigger screen size and the higher resolution that you can switch to whenever you want. And as I had mentioned below, out of the box, the S8 will come at a 2K display. So you can change it to a 1080p or a 4K whenever you want to. However, due to the larger screen, the battery consumption, we feel that on the S7 would be better than it would be on the S8. However, that still has to be tested out in the real world situation. And something else that really impressed us with the S8 was the introduction of the iris scanner. Now, it does seem like a very good option because they've placed the fingerprint sensor at a very uncomfortable position. The iris scanner would be an alternative, and if it is successful, it should do wonders for Samsung. However, we have to see how accurate and how fast the iris scanner actually is, and that will be tested once the S8 is launched. Now, to conclude the video, we feel that the S8 is a very powerful device. It is a powerhouse and has impressive looks. However, there are a lot of things that haven't changed, including the camera, the battery, the RAM. And we feel that there should have been a notable upgrade because competitors like OnePlus and Xiaomi are bringing out flagship devices at a reasonable price. Also, S8 will be about $100 more expensive than an S7. So if you already own an S7, do you think that is really worth the upgrade just for Bixby, just for the iris scanner? And yes, it's a good looking phone, so I believe the only reason to buy that would be the amazing looking phone and the curved screen itself with minimum bezel. However, if you're planning to buy a great phone and budget is a problem, the S7 Edge will get a massive price cut as soon as the S8 is launched. So you can actually think of buying the S7 Edge instead of upgrading or buying the S8. Also, there are a lot of competitors which are giving out great looking phones, like the OnePlus 3T was one of the best phones of last year and still provides a bang for the buck because of the hardware, and they are coming out with new colors almost. They've come out with new colors in the last 2 months. They have 2 new colors. So we feel that even a OnePlus 3T would be a great phone for the next entire year as well. And even if you want an upgrade and you don't want to go for an old phone which is not by Samsung or which is not a flagship device of this year, you can actually look at the upcoming phones. The Xiaomi Mi 6 was recently announced and it's going to be launched in the next couple of days, and the Mi Note 2 is also going to be launched in a couple of months. And another impressive phone, the OnePlus 5, is going to launch in this year. We are predicting a Q2 launch for the OnePlus 5, and just like the OnePlus 3T, it will blow the competition aside. So I would suggest to hold and wait and watch how the price actually falls for the rest of the devices, including the S7, and then you can either go in for one of those devices, new devices from Chinese manufacturers, or if you're really impressed by the S8, yes, you can go with a powerhouse called S8. Now, do let us know what you feel. Is the Samsung Galaxy S8 a worthy upgrade over the S7 Edge? Will you be buying the S8 over the S7 or any other phone by the other competitors? Do let us know in the comment section below, and support the channel by liking, sharing and subscribing, and we will see you soon in our upcoming videos. So don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more insane videos.